Hey everybody, Bermcannon here. Another great podcast. And with me today I have Fire Freddy. We're going to talk about a load of stuff, everything from the Long Beach Convention Center and the motorcycle show and all the new bikes to the last two videos we shot in the Mojave Desert and all kinds of other things around that. Let's get going. I know you like that intro music, right, Freddie?
Absolutely. Every time.
It's funny because when I first started running it last year, I kind of thought it was lame, and then now so many people tell me they're just like they love it. My kids love it. They're like, I love that song.
It's got a nice little surfer riff to it. I like it. Very fitting.
So the first thing I want to chat about, I know you tried to come down here and we actually tried to go to this show together because everybody that's out there, Fire Freddy is looking for a 2.0 adventure bike. Right now he rides the 650R and he is enjoying it. He loves it. But me and him, Hacienda Gabe, Baja George are all in the market for these next bikes that will go into our stall for more, covering more land, you know. And Baja George actually has an African twin. And I've been bugging him to get him on this podcast or get him on the live show to talk about it. I also have a couple guys that follow me that continually send me DMs that I need to quit playing around, quit the BS, and go get an African twin. And I just laugh every time I get those because they're hilarious. But, so yeah. Anyways, me and Freddie were supposed to go down there. And it was just kind of a bad time, right, Fred? It was like Thanksgiving was on the cusp.
Yeah, just before. I had to work the day you went, and then I wound up coming down the day after to go to the LA Auto Show. So it was like complete opposite spectrum. But yeah, I wish I would have been able to make the Long Beach show with you. That would have been cool.
Yeah, so it was, I took my son James, and we went, and the day before, Baja George was there, and he was scoping out new bikes, and he's a bike collector himself. He actually has quite a few of them, and the one that he likes lately is his African twin. So we went to the show. I actually tried to make a legit video, and it just, as soon as I walked in the doors and we went in there, it was so crowded. It was on a Saturday, and I should know better, but I had things going on Friday, and then they had press day Thursday, or maybe it was Friday morning they had press day. I should have went then, but I was an idiot. So I went Saturday and just dealt with walking into a bunch of fart bombs, and just, it was almost like some bikes you just had to wait your turn to get on. It was kind of crazy, especially the Honda booth with the African twin. And so, yeah. So we'll start at this. The new African twin is very sexy. The first thing I was looking at with these bikes was ground clearance. And it's immediately noticeable on all these YouTube videos. And I don't know why the F all these European guys are getting these bikes. But I guess they want to launch them there first. But noticeably, all these videos on YouTube on, say, the African Twin and the Yamaha Tenere, they're just riding on fire roads, and they're just riding on like wet asphalt. And I just think that's hilarious. But so walking into the Honda booth, I was looking at the African Twin, and noticeably it had pretty good ground clearance. Now, it doesn't say on their website what it is, but it looked around 10 inches at least. So I was cool with that. And I sat on it, and it feels good. There was nothing, but and then guys were just waiting there staring at me. It was like sitting on Santa's lap, and then like the kids waiting for you to get off so they can give Santa like what they want for Christmas. That's what I felt like. It was like being in the mall in 1981.
How was it getting on and off the bike?
It was not bad. I mean, I swung a leg over. It wasn't really tall in the back. And then sitting on it, I felt the seat was comfortable. And then the cockpit seemed a little slender. I sat on the base model, and I actually was like trying to sense anything that was wrong, and there was nothing wrong. Like I'll tell you on a couple other bikes I sat on, but yeah. So I don't know. And supposedly those things are hitting the showroom floors February or March. And when that happens, I will go down to my local dealership, Moto United over here, and I will sit on one and shake it around a little bit.
Sounds like in February, March, we need to make a weekend and go bike shopping.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we know what we're gonna get. Hopefully we all have decided. Okay, so the next bike I went and checked out was this new Suzuki, and hold on one second. Have you seen that, Freddie? Have you seen that bike?
No, I haven't seen the new Suzuki. Is it a spin-off from the DRZ or something, or all new bike?
I'm pulling it up here real quick just so I don't... Yeah, so it's called the 1000 V-Strom.
Interesting.
And I watched a little video on YouTube with the engineers in Japan, and they were boasting on how they're bringing back this retro look of an adventure bike. And to be very honest, when I walked up to it, it was very low to the ground. And to be honest, I kind of wasn't really... Once I saw that, I kind of was like, I'll just make my way to the next bike, because it looks like a street bike with some minor knobbies on it, and it looks like more for the guy who wants to go down fire roads maybe once a month. So then I was headed over to the Yamaha booth, and then I was looking for KTM, and KTM wasn't there. And I did see in one of those luggage companies that was there, they had a KTM 790. And what was shocking to me was it was even lower to the ground than the Suzuki. But then you kind of corrected me, Fred, that...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's their road or touring model. They have the regular, and then they have an R model, which is supposed to be their more off-road oriented. And I guess for 2020 they have a third model, which is called a Rally, which I'm interested in, but they're supposed to be 500 units, so chances of me getting one of those are kind of slim.
Yeah. Hey, hold on one second. We have a homeless problem around this building, and I hear somebody yelling. So let's keep this rolling. I'll edit this out of the podcast, but hold on one second.
Sure, go handle business. Of course.
Okay. All right, I'm back.
All right. Yeah, dude, I didn't hear anything on my end, so it may not have picked it up.
Yeah, I just heard people screaming down there, and usually it's California has our vagrant problem, and they're starting to kind of move into industrial areas to live at night. So, anyways, so when we went into the, okay, so when I was looking at this KTM, I'm glad you told me that, Fred, because I kind of got a little nervous. I was like, oh wow, this is really low. So one more time, there is a street version.
Yeah, so there's a street version, an off-road version, and then like a competition with their rally version. And I guess
Yeah.
the difference is suspension and ride. Well, between the R and the rally is ride height. I guess that art rally is supposed to be a little taller.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, I still want to actually see one in person, and I know a couple guys that have them. I just have to make my way to their shops and look at them. But then I made my way to the 700 Teneri, which was in the Yamaha booth. And by the way, those were littered throughout the show. I think Yamaha has released a few of these. Specifically, I've seen them on YouTube too. Guys riding these things, and then they're just on freaking paved roads. It's just like, gosh, it's like I'm wondering if everybody, if is that what we're getting into? Is that what? I mean, I was
I don't
actually
know.
questioning myself the other day. Is the adventure thing more just dirt roads? Is that what we're doing?
And it's funny because I noticed that in a lot of marketing too. That's like you said, fire roads or pretty well kept two tracks. That new African Twin advertisement you showed me, they did a pretty good job of being off road and doing some exploring with that. And I've seen some with that KTM, but a lot of them, you're right, they're not really going out and working that machine how we normally would.
Right, and this is a great example because this past week we had some rain and snow dump on Southern California deserts, and I'm on that CRF 250 rally along with Dirt Bike Test, and I took that thing out, and yeah, I was on fire roads, but then there's certain situations where, and this is the great thing I enjoy about riding in self, is if I look at my clock and I'm like, oh, I want to get back now. I've kind of burned a lot of time. I want to get back to base. I don't have to take the same trail. I can just point in a direction, trailblaze, or pick a less, you know what I mean, a less taken single track trail,
Yeah,
or
you take a ridge that looks okay and just cruise down it, and
yeah,
it dumps you out where you need to go.
right. And the lower they make these adventure bikes, ground clearance wise, and then travel in the suspension, you can't do that. You're going to have to go, okay, I got to get back on the dirt highway and go back home. I'm working on a little sidebar here. I'm working on doing the review for the Honda CRF 250L Rally. And there's going to be two videos, maybe a short and sweet one. And then I'm doing an in-depth where I'm going to talk about every corner of that bike, mainly because I really believe that bike is perfect for a beginner and somebody who wants to get involved in adventure riding or dual sporting. It's perfect for women. It's perfect for kids transitioning from smaller bikes. It's so easy to ride, and there's no scary power to it. But the coolest thing about that bike is it has more travel in the suspension and higher ground clearance, I think, than the African Twin.
Hmm.
So put that in your pipe and smoke that. I mean, I mean, I had a blast on that bike. You saw me, Freddie. I mean, the last couple videos, I mean, you just can't be you can't be impatient on what you want to do in the day.
Well, and that was just going to be my only comment is, I mean, it's a 250. So for a guy my size, I'm 280. And that's not including gear plus camera gear, whatever. It's just a little underpowered for me, but we're not, like you said, we're not marketing to me. We're marketing to guys getting into this. So, it really is a good bike, and it has a lot of wonderful features, that aren't really noticeable right away, but, for the price point, you just can't go wrong.
No, I mean, and I am going to put that in my video as far as size of person, because I think anybody 200 pounds plus, and that's creeping on me too. I mean, anybody another 20 pounds more than me, you're kind of stressing that power a little bit more. But I mean, the thing has a blast shield, it has a windscreen, it has LED lighting. It has a full display if you want to be a mathematician nerd and do all your calculations as you're riding down the highway with like gas and mileage and all that other stuff. It has tie down hooks in the passenger seat area. I mean, and you're right, for $5,000, you can't go wrong with that bike.
No, and as long as you're riding it within the limitations of the machine, it really is a great bike.
Yeah. So I eventually made it over to the Tenere, and I was super impressed. I actually like the way the bike looks. I think design-wise, it just looks awesome. It has really high ground clearance. I didn't measure, but with my hand, I'm guessing it's like at least 12 inches. So it's more than that Honda Rally. It's more than the African Twin. And I sat on it. It felt good. I rocked it. It was actually light and slender. And I was getting all like just frothed up, and so the guy comes over and he's all, "What do you think?" And I'm all, "Well, this is amazing." And we started talking a little bit, and I go like, "So when can somebody buy one of these? Because this has actually been a bike that's been, in the works for the last like 3 to 4 years." He goes, "Oh, we're close. We're close." I'm all, "Wait a minute. So it's not even ready? Like, what are these? I see them in other booths and stuff." He goes, "Oh, those are just loaners." And I go, "Okay, well, when's the solid date?" "Well, we have a solid date of July 2020. And I'm like, it just like took the wind right out of my sails. I was like, "Oh, well," I go, "Wow, you guys announced this bike like at least 2 years ago, and it's still you guys can't pump them out." So this is my opinion. Okay, I don't want anybody at home to like go run and tell the press, but this is my opinion. When he told me that, automatically, just based on my knowledge of how the industry works and manufacturing works, I think they made some and they're having issues with them. I don't know what that issue is or what it could be, but it could be a lot of things. It could be welds. It could be the engine. I don't know. What are your thoughts? What do you think?
No, and you're right. I mean, it might be a manufacturing issue. And it's funny because the Tenere, I've seen a lot of like in the European market. So I wonder if it's not like something dumb as far as American emission standards or something that they need to tweak.
Or there's that. I didn't think of that. Commie, California probably is laying down more law for them. They probably got to put a bunch of more toilet paper in the exhaust. So yeah, I was happy with that bike. I did notice that this BDR, who I'm not really well educated on, they bought a huge booth space in that show, and they were giving camps and seminars on adventure riding and stuff like that, and I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, that was my time there. And then once I saw those, I kind of jammed. I went to the LA Auto Show and just walked around there. So moving on though, I've gotten a lot of compliments on those last two videos, Freddie, that we did in Lone Pine. And everything from the cinematography, the drone shots, to where is that? I need to go ride there. And it was cool because I was posting stuff on Dirt Bike Tests Instagram, kind of teasing people with some of our photography, and I was getting DMs. People were just like, "Where's that?" You know, because I mean, let's face it, some of the parts of Mojave Desert are amazing. I mean, it looks like you're in Africa.
You just got to know where to go.
But and then I got a lot of questions, obviously, on your XR650 electric start, which there was actually one guy, he wanted to get one. He's all, where did you get that? I want one. I'm ready to spend money. I'm like, no.
About a decade late.
Yeah. So you got a lot of electric start fans out there of your contraption there.
You know, and it's funny because it wasn't until after you mentioned Jimmy had asked if it was still working and the whole starter cutting out. I'm starting to have some issues with it, but I think it's a starter clutch issue, and I might have to be doing some research on replacing that here really soon.
Well, let me ask you, can you just take it off, or?
The starter kit, yeah, it's not terribly hard. I have a stock cover and a stock flywheel, so it's not terribly hard. But honestly, when Baja Designs made that, they used a lot of lawnmower, like big commercial lawnmower type parts. So finding a starter clutch for it, I don't think I'll have too much of an issue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that bike is still good, and you should keep it for a couple of our Baja trips coming up. I actually have things planned for Baja here in the next few months. It's just, I think we're not going anywhere here this month, just because of the holidays and that. But yeah, I can't wait to get you down there with that 650, because there's something with the 650 in Baja. It's
what it was made for, man.
It's the horse you ride. You know, you don't ride certain horses into certain towns. But so yeah, I don't know. Just to let everybody know at home, me and Freddie are planning more Eastern Sierra, because we jumped. Me and Hacienda Gabe, we went up to Tahoe and we did all that on BMW GSs. If you haven't seen those videos, you can find them on my page. But then I had to come back down to Kernville, leaving Kernville, and then going down the Eastern Sierras, because for people that aren't from California, there's not a lot going on the west side of the Sierras. There's more farm towns. It drops into Fresno and Delano. I don't know, Freddie, you can talk more on that. That's your area.
So the trail system is kind of hit and miss as far as single track for dirt bikes. There's a lot of riding, but it really doesn't take you anywhere. It's like an out and back kind of trip. So for like what we were doing and cruising around, and it's still a lot of fun. There's still a lot of pretty places to see. Like there's some trails up by Yosemite that are phenomenal. It's just a matter of what you want to do and what your bike's capabilities are. And up in Yosemite area, it's fine because you can get fuel pretty readily up there.
Yeah.
So,
well, the Eastern Sierras has that whole Mojave Death Valley desert.
It is high desert.
There's a lot of weird stuff out there to go travel and check out.
And it's, I don't know, there's something nicer about being a little more desolate. You know, having the road and trail to yourself. It's, I don't know, there's something special about that versus having to fight with crowds, everybody wanting to get to the same place you want to.
Yeah. And you know, when you're in the forest, there's nothing unique about being in the forest 10 miles from that same spot in the forest. You're kind of just under trees and trees and trees. Where the Lone Pine area, I was really blown away by Alabama Hills. I was telling somebody the other day, I think that's my favorite place to. People saw in the video, we tried to get some good drone shot of that footage of Mount Whitney and the high Sierras looking down onto Alabama Hills. And I don't know, it blew me away so bad. I was like, I think this is my favorite place to ride. And even though there's not a lot of diverse riding there, it's just cool to be under the shadows of the high Sierras in that picturesque scenery with Mount Whitney there and so on.
And there's a lot more trail system on that side that we didn't even cover that I think would picking up next time. It'll be just as breathtaking. Well, I take that back because this was kind of a special time of year to go with the snow and yeah. But it's a good area. Can't wait.
Yeah, well, like we were talking, we're gonna have to do a spring, and then we'll do a couple tent overnighters because I have these guys that are constantly like, hey, when are you gonna do some pack it in, pack it out? And I'm like, well, okay, I'll do that in the Sierras there, but
and the Sierras are I mean, it's California. It's pretty safe. In Baja, I don't know. I mean, just like any other country, you just have to find safe spots to camp out.
Dude, or how about Tim Burke? Dude, if anybody here that follows me, if they don't follow Tim Burke, Tim Burke just got done doing Africa, and he doesn't do YouTube stuff. He only does Instagram stories, and he is effing hilarious. Everything from when he just said, I told him to come on here, and I think he's just trying to find his way back to civilization as we speak. But what was he doing? He has a game where he pulls up to authorities at border crossings, whatever, or if cops stop him, he only gives them 6 seconds, and then he just rides off. Like, and I was thinking about that. I'm like, if I did that in Baja, it could work, and it probably will work. The problem is when you're down in Baja, you're coming back up sooner or later. You know what I mean? It's a peninsula, so you're going down, and you're eventually going to come back up. So you're going to have to deal with that guy you ditch. Where in Africa, he was going one way, so it was like, okay, and I don't know. I can't wait to have him on. I hope he comes on because I got a lot of questions. That guy is pretty much living the ultimate adventure bike dream right there.
Yeah, he just got into Greece, and he's just impressed by having normal civilization type amenities, grocery stores, and hot running water and so forth.
And he brought up a point a couple weeks ago, how down there when you do something dumb, you die.
Yeah.
When you do something dumb here in the U.S., you don't usually die, but you end up suing. So everything's a lawsuit here in the United States. But down there, it's like, oh, did you get on a ship that had unsafe conditions? Well, it sank and killed everybody. And everybody just stands around and goes, oh, that sucks. Okay, let's move on. There's no court. There's no news about it. It's just stuff like that happens, and it's just a different world. So I think we're good for this podcast, Fred.
Whatever you want. I mean, I think we're 30 minutes in or so?
Yeah, I wanted to remind everybody that all my merchandise on my store, what's there right now will be discontinued probably January 1st. and I'm working on new designs.
I'm glad you
So,
brought that up because I had just got my shipment into some new shirts and that coffee mug. I was actually kind of disappointed at first because it comes in and it's all black. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I pour my coffee in and it slowly transitions into the
oh, it does?
Oh yeah. It's pretty cool.
You'll have to send a picture so I can post it for everybody to see.
I will. I'll take a video of it in the morning when I pour my coffee.
They actually discontinued those mugs, by the way, because I think they were having some issues with them. But anyways, we're going to have new designs. And if you want any of the designs that are on the store, you can just go to radrhythm.club and you can look in the Bermcannon collection. And all that stuff will disappear. The only thing that won't disappear is the new Baja Diaries hat, which a lot of people are giving me great feedback on that. And that's a cool looking hat, well made. And so we have that. I have the CRF 250L bike review coming out probably next week. And maybe after that, take the rest of the month off and allow all you guys to enjoy your families and have a happy holidays. But and then Freddie, we're gonna kind of build some gear, like a gear thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely, because I'm in the market. We've been talking about doing some communications and radio, Bluetooth stuff. I'm in the market for weatherproof gear and a new helmet. So
yeah,
we'll definitely have to do a review on that when we get to that point.
We'll, you know what we'll do is we'll do a separate podcast on Gear Talk, because I just bought that new knife that I used. This Boker knife, this Kalashnikov that I love.
Right.
It's like a short little 2-blade automatic knife. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the sleeping bags that I may be getting.
Yeah, that's right.
That's actually a good idea for a show on that one.
No, I mean it's essential. The essentials on what you want to pack on your bike and what you need, what you don't need, and go from there.
Cool. All right, everybody. Have a safe night. We're getting rain here tonight in California and wherever you guys are at. Thanks for listening. You can follow me on Twitter at Bermcannon or on Instagram at Baja Diaries. And we will see you next time. See you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. And again, if you want to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio, these podcasts will be available on that, and then you can listen to them with no issues. Or you can just keep following me on YouTube. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Take care.